Hi there. We are back after a little bit of a technical difficulty from shooting last week. While we were in the middle of kind of taking a pause, Melissa, we got some big news in the Kanye divorce.
Well, the big news is that apparently this is going to be featured on the next season of their television show, which is kind of fun and exciting. And I'm sure will lend itself to lots of, well, I don't really watch the show, but I'm sure it'll lend itself to lots of issues that we can discuss in the future. I think that that's a big part of them controlling the narrative. I think a lot of people see it as being sort of fake. I think we sort of circle back to what we were talking about before about that Kim sort of being opportunistic with, her relationship with Kanye. But maybe I'm a sucker, but I really believe that she really loves Kanye or did love Kanye or whatever. I don't think that you go to the effort to have 4 kids with someone when it's, you aren't really in it to win it, like I don't think, and it's not even as though they had 4 kids like sort of by accident. She had 3 of her pregnancies via a gestational carrier because she had such difficulties with her first pregnancy. She carried north herself and had so much difficulty and so many issues that she used a gestational carrier for their other 3 children. So I don't think that you're going to the effort to have a gestational carrier and have 3 more babies on purpose with someone if you aren't really in that relationship for the long run. But that actually brings me to something that I've always been really curious about. How does surrogacy work in Maryland? Can you just like go and get? It seems like it would be a really good option for people who can't gestate for whatever reason or don't want to if they whatever. I'm sure there's any host of issues why someone might need a gestational carrier. So how does that work? Is it a contractual relationship? Are there like laws that govern that sort of thing? Or tell us about that.
Okay, so I have a little bit of experience with this, and this is a great question. It's a combination of everything you said. So when done on the up and up, because of course there's probably people that can't afford this type of thing and have some other type of arrangement, but it's an expensive process. But when it's done on the up and up, there's businesses set up for this exact scenario. There are agencies that will match a willing carrier, a willing mother, or the biological mother, and match them with a couple that can't, for whatever reason, have children on their own, right? Maybe it's a gay couple, maybe it's a fertility issue, but ironclad contract, if again, done reputably, that's gonna cover things like how much are you paid to carry the baby, who comes to doctor's appointments, other forms of kind of bonding with the baby during, I guess prenatal care. So I think that's the right word. Who's going to be present at the birth? All of these things are going to be in a very, very lengthy, detailed contract that's enforceable. Now, with Kim and Kanye, you're definitely going to have another layer of non-disclosure, right? That thing is probably going to be just as long as the surrogacy contract. But when you transition to the legal side, the big question then is what are the parent rights of the child? My understanding is this: the birth mother and the father, the sperm donor in this situation, go on the birth certificate of live birth, right? The first birth certificate. But what you have right away, done in advance, are adoption papers where the birth mother gives the child up to the family, and this is part of the contract we talked about, gives the child up legally to the family that is going to be the child's parents. There's a number of I think, additional issues about kind of the psychology of it all, and does the birth mother have contact with the child going forward? And I think that's all a matter of agreement and contract as well. But at that point, once you have an adoption and a termination of the biological mother's parental rights, she's kind of out of the picture for custody. And the new adopted parents, just like any other adoption, would be the parents for any type of, unfortunate later custody dispute. I think there's one kind of interesting hiccup in Maryland in that I believe the birth mother has to leave the hospital with the child. So in certain circumstances, that part probably can be a little bit awkward. It can't be the adopted parents, but all this stuff, when done correctly and done through an agency and done with, when the paperwork is intact, it's a cooperative, at least it begins as a cooperative process, right? I mean, obviously people can have change of hearts, and obviously women go through a ton of chemical changes and have a lot to deal with when they're giving birth. But it's the process at this point, when it's done like this, is designed to be as smooth as possible, checking off all the boxes.
So you couldn't just be like, I'm a gestational carrier, I've changed my mind, I'm keeping this baby. That's enforceable, that you're not keeping that baby.
I'm sure that there is litigated messes that can come out of that situation, but you have the contract, you have all of these things in place that would prevent that circumstance from happening. But as you know, and I know, and all good attorneys know, just because something's in a piece of paper, whether it's a contract or a court order, doesn't mean people follow it. There's tons of laws on the books as to what we can and can't do, and yet we have a criminal justice system because people do that stuff all the time. So
fair enough.
It's all neat and tidy in a nice little bow. In practice, probably sometimes it gets a little messier than that. But my limited experience with it is when the paperwork is right, it is a smooth, it's a smooth process. And family law attorneys can be very helpful in kind of not predicting, but kind of understanding kind of the incidents that would come through a 9-month care of a baby. Like I said, you can contract for the presence of the doctor's appointments, the birth, all of those things. And especially now with so much things being remote, I think that process has probably even gotten a little bit more streamlined.
So is there a limit on how much you can pay someone to carry your baby?
That I do not know, but I would
I can see maybe public policy reasons why you would want to sort of, I don't know.
That's a great question. That's why you ask the questions and I have to go find the answers. So maybe the next time, at the next video, I will try and do some research to see if there's a cap on how much you can charge for a gestational carrier situation. I'm pretty sure that, at least in Kim and Kanye's situation, that number is going to be astronomical. So we'll see.
Well, because I guess you're paying for other things too, like discretion, which costs probably a lot more than.
Yeah. Discretion is invaluable to the Kardashians, unless it's their TV show.
Unless it's what they choose to put out into the public.
Well, that's what I mean by
narrative.
On that note, you and I will chime back in. We will keep an eye on the Kim Kardashian-West and the Kanye-West divorce. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, please like it. As our friend Rory would say, you smash that like button. And comment and share the videos as much as possible. We really appreciate it. We're looking forward to talking to you all soon.